Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Inshallah, as we come to recap our marriage series, inshallah, I would like to mention a few very important things that should be considered while looking at the challenge that lays ahead when a person is married and going through the marriage and when the tougher times come. The first thing that we should consider is look at marriage as one of the greatest challenges in building your personality. So whether it be your mannerism, your perseverance, your character, your iman, marriage has a tendency to challenge all that. So if a person can reflect on that yes, I am being challenged and I should persevere through this. Number two is those parts of your personality that you conveniently overlooked in life. So whether, let's just say, a person was lacking in patience, in kindness, in empathy, if you were ignoring those parts of your life, then maybe marriage will definitely challenge that and completely demand of you to focus on your weakest points. The points that we thought could be covered up with our strengths. But marriage will expose that because it would show that you're lacking in those aspects of your personality. And lastly, whatever shortcomings that you were not able to help by yourself, whether it be through your Islamic education, whether it was through the good advices and the parental upbringing you got from your parents, if you had your favorite sheikh that you used to go to or a da'i and he would teach you religion, whatever is still lacking, your wife or your husband will basically show by living with you that you are still lacking in those aspects of your life. And it's definitely going to be painful to realize, oh, I'm very lacking in this. But that's just the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has basically made for us to realize that we are lacking in our personality in some aspects and we need to brush up on that. So those are the three considerations we should think about. Now the actual advices on how to live a very peaceful marriage. Number one, get rid of the tendency to overanalyze things and to be hypercritical. So let's just say he or she gave you a gift. Now you're overthinking, oh, why couldn't they buy me this? He bought you a dinner or she made you a dinner or whatever. So now don't overthink it. Oh, why couldn't she make this for me? Why does she have to make this for me? Just don't over criticize and carry on. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was not a ta'an. Ta'an is somebody who is able to find faults. So if you are leaving a review for some restaurant or whatever, you can leave a very hypercritical review. Maybe you'll get lots of stars or whatever or upvotes on your Google reviews. But your wife won't appreciate or your husband won't appreciate the overly hypercritical reviews and feedback. The other thing is when something happens that was not to your liking, try to reflect on it and see it through your spouse's eyes and see what the feelings they have behind it and try to translate it in a beautiful way. If you can do that, you can take anything terrible and literally turn it positive by the way you look at it. And that is such amazing sunnah. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam once was with his family and one of his spouses was there, his wife was there, and another wife had the audacity to send some nice food. And Mother Aisha was not happy with that. It's my turn, you shouldn't be sending food. She just walks up, slaps the food out of the person's hands, and the bowl breaks, and the food is wasted. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did not take that as rude, short-tempered, nothing. He simply said, oh, your mother, she became possessive over me. She got defensive. That's it. Meaning, in other words, she loves me And she just showed it by hitting that plate and breaking the bowl and spilling the food. So those who witnessed it, whether it was the Sahaba, the male companions, or Mother Aisha and the person that brought the food, they all saw it as a positive thing and a decent thing. They just left thinking very positively. Although it could have really hurt her image, but Nabi Sallam didn't let that happen. So that's number 2, which was look through the eyes of your spouse and read and translate things nicely. And the third one is forgive things, overlook things, forget things, and carry on. Start afresh, because that was a sunnah of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He would yasfah. Yasfah means to completely start afresh. So anyone you have a miscommunication with, a bad experience with, just restart. And do not keep a score. The worst thing you can do to your own self in a marriage is keep score. If you keep score, you're just going to be heavily burdened. Let's just say you're married for a year. You're newly married 1 year, and now you're thinking, oh, the first week this happened, and then the first weekend together this happened. Like, why are you going to think like that? It's not a sporting event where you keep score. It's a marriage. Marriage is for the long haul. Just go with it, forget the negatives, remember the positives, and you'll last much longer than someone who just remembers all the negatives. So inshallah, if we can reflect on all this, we will definitely be able to persevere through anything that comes our way. Number 1 was, do not be hypercritical. Number 2, look at things through the eyes of your spouse and translate things properly. And lastly, forget things, overlook things, and start afresh. And that way you'll be rejuvenated all the time and positive enough to continue with a happy marriage. May Allah give all of us tawfiq to practice whatever was said, and may Allah save us from the evil of our actions and our personalities. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen wa sallallahu ala nabiyyil ummi.